I don't know, I'm just kind of in this mode, feeling very determined, loving these hills, feeling pretty good after yesterday's big 20K run. I don't know, some days you just really want it. Today, it's one of those days.
What's going on, everybody? Wanted to put a video update out there about how the training is going for IRONMAN Lake Placid and Chattanooga 70.3. I got an email last week that I couldn't believe it. It said 13 weeks to IRONMAN Lake Placid, and very quickly my heart kind of dropped, and I said, well, it's getting pretty close. I'm from Wisconsin, I live in Madison, and our weather is still up and down, riding outside, riding inside. So my mind mentally has not quite been to that I need to get outside because the weather is great to get in some big miles. So, but fortunately for the 70.3 in Chattanooga in a couple weeks, that has been going very well. I'm very excited for that because the fitness is looking pretty good. So the one thing too is that typically I race Ironman Wisconsin or Ironman Chattanooga, and those are September races. And so all of a sudden to be in peak Ironman shape for Lake Placid, which is in the middle-ish end of July, is a big adjustment of taking that fitness that was here and moving it to here throughout the calendar year. But thankfully the training is going really, really well. My goals for Chattanooga is typically a very, very stacked field. It's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, age group race in the US, and I am in the age group of 35 to 39, and I know what it takes to get in the podium, the top 5 there. And I think on my best day I could maybe crack into that top 5, but for me, I'm going there with a lot more goals of trying to execute a very, very good swim, trying to ride the wattage that I know that I can ride and hold a good position. And the run, if the weather is good, I'm going to try to run 125 or faster because that's where my training has shown to be. Lake Placid, my goal is, I don't set up a lot of goals because I've never done Lake Placid before. I've done other Ironmans, but setting up a time goal for Lake Placid, a race that I've never done, I think will add a lot of just like weird anxiety that I don't even know if I'm on track for. But in terms of swim shape, bike shape, run shape, I'm getting pretty close to like the peak numbers, like my peak numbers, so that when I start to do Ironman training, I can come underneath that and see how high that sustainability is. Last year at Chattanooga Ironman, I had my best Ironman run. I ran 3:19. And for whatever reason, I just was always like a 3:29 to 3:30 person. But last winter into Chattanooga last year, I said, I'm going to run 30 to 40 miles every single week. And that's my goal. And I felt amazing through that run. I also made a lot of nutritional choices as well during that run. So for me, knowing that I can run 3:19 or better, hopefully at Placid, for me, my focus this off season has been primarily on the bike. And I looked at 2 years ago or 3 years ago and then 2 years ago of what my average hours are on the bike. And I looked at basically from December to April. And I looked at the average on Training Peaks, looked on the average for this 2 years ago. And I said, okay, both of those were around 6 hours of an average. And I said, I'm going to be a better cyclist this year. Like my main focus is better cycling. And so I put about 2 hours more to that average in that same period. And in that time, I saw a 5-minute power increase. I saw a 20-minute power increase. And so when I did like a validation workout after that 20-minute test, just to make sure that everything was reading correctly, I did 2 by 20 minutes. And when I look at the heart rate at those 2 by 20s, and then I look back at many of the other 2 by 20s I've done, heart rate was the same, but the power was so much greater. And I'm really excited for that. coming off of Chattanooga though last year, which prompted this change, is that I got whooped on the bike. I mean, I felt like I was getting passed by the entire field. I swam well, and then all of a sudden it was like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. People were passing me, and it was a pretty dark spot. I remember getting off the bike and thinking, I'm done. Like, I'm done with Ironman. And then Cindy, my wife, and my kid were there, Lucy, and I said, okay, let's get this thing going. And it just started clicking. And it led to an amazing marathon. But I went to the wind tunnel right after the race. I remember talking with my athlete, Robin, and I was like, hey, do you want to go to the wind tunnel? And she said, yeah, totally. And so I think within 4 weeks of Chattanooga last September, we were in the wind tunnel in North Carolina at the A2 wind tunnel. And that was an amazing experience because Robin made huge gains, with her position and equipment choices and just like awareness. And the same thing as in the past, I've been to the A2 wind tunnel 3 times, and all of that has been to work with my athletes in the wind tunnel. But this time I wanted to go for myself, and it is amazing the process that you move through with make a change, test it. Sometimes it looks really fast, but it's not fast, or it's not any faster. And it was 2 hours of some really great work, and the end result was really, really promising. So higher power, a much improved bike position leading into these races is pretty good. What's interesting about the running is because I put 8.5 to 10 hours a week this winter on the trainer, and then I was swimming a lot, is my running went from like 30 miles a week down to say 15. And I was nervous about that, but I wanted to trust the process with becoming a better cyclist. And so last weekend, there's this event here in Madison called the 50K Relay, and it's 10K around the Arboretum. It's a road, but it's hilly, and the weather was cold and windy, but whatever. And I did 2 loops, and I haven't even run 20K yet in training. I put on like some older Vaporfly 2s, which I really like, and I went to town. I went after it. Never looked at my watch, and I went to town. And I set the second fastest 20K through a half marathon that I've ever done. And I thought, I'm not even running the miles that I was last year, but I'm running the same speed. And so I'm thinking that swim fitness and that bike fitness is really, really paying off. So that gave me some good confidence going into Chattanooga. I still need some more long runs. I still need more specific work for Lake Placid, but that'll come. And the run mileage is getting back into that 30, 35 miles per week range, but my pacing is still really good. And then the last thing, and probably the most important thing, is with swimming this off season, I joined another pool. And I make a lot of excuses about my swimming. I don't swim. And so this year I joined a pool, and Nicole, one of my athletes, she won USAT Nationals last year. Amazing athlete, really great swimmer. And then we committed. So I swim with her twice a week, and then the third time I swim by myself. But basically every time I get in the pool, I'm getting whooped. I mean, Nicole's a lot better swimmer than me, so when we're doing any repetition, there she is right there, and we're swimming pretty hard. And basically every swim practice, I'm getting beat. But she's also pushing me to a different level because my swimming is actually at a very good place, which is exciting. And then sometimes Robin also comes in, and Robin is also a very, very good swimmer. So sometimes I have 2 people in the pool with me that are just really, really making me work, which is pretty exciting. But all in all, 13 weeks or 12 and a half weeks, whatever we are right now from Lake Placid, and about 4-ish from Chattanooga 70.3. I'm really excited about where my fitness is at. I think that I can definitely be on the podium at Lake Placid. Chattanooga is questionable, but that's never like the goal. The goal is to have a great race and to push yourself and to challenge yourself. But I'm healthy, I'm fit, I'm super motivated, and that's all I got. So hopefully I can get a check-in for you next week, because next week's another really big week. It's going to be more of like a cycling focus week for me with some swimming and a little less running. But yeah, all's going well. So we'll see you all next time.